Hey guys, Eric here, and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to draw the face from 3/4 view and profile view. So let's get started. Alright, so first off, I'd like to apologize for the weird angle of the camera here. I'm having some technical issues with my drawing table, so in order to keep it from having a shadow constantly across the board like that, I had to move the camera back and tilt it a little bit. I still have my shadow from my hand, but hopefully we can get through this. So let's just get moving on to the 3/4 view here. Now with 3/4 view, basically all that means is that when you have your normal head, which normally your head would be, you know, actually get over here. Normally your face would be front view, like so. But in 3/4 view, you actually take, let's use a circle to kind of introduce that. And you're literally moving the center line over a little. You're turning your head over to the side. So right here, let's just do kind of a bigger face here. So let's do a big old circle here. We can do a big face so you can see it easier. For 3/4, you have to also remember that things are going to change. Instead of being perfectly symmetrical, things are going to be off kilter a little bit to the side. So what you want to do is you still want to start with a circle, and you want to put the halfway mark, or the halfway line, a little bit over to whatever side the person's facing. For me, I'm putting it over on this side just because I'm having them face to the right. Excuse me. Now, depending on how far over you want them to look, that'll depend on how far over you put this, and the more drastic it gets to the edge, the more drastic that curve. So remember that this is curving, because this is a circle, your face is round, so it is giving a little bit of a curve. And now let's put the center line, which is going to be pretty much the same because I'm having them look straight. Now, I'm just going to throw in real quick the actual face. So let me just do that so I can have something to kind of work with here. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. With the side of the face, you want to do kind of like that, which it's hard to explain, but the cheek is going to be poking out a little more on this side because of the fact that you're turning to the right a little bit. So just remember that you're going to have the cheekbone right here. It's going to be sticking out. Now the cheek is actually, if you were to draw another line right where that cheek is, which is basically cutting in half the line between the eyes and the chin, that is right around where the nose is going to be. So that's one easy way to remember things like where the nose goes. So I'm going to put the nose in there right now just to kind of help visualize a little bit. So we got that down there, and that's a good way to let you know where the cheek ends. It's about halfway from the top here line here, the center of the eyes, down to the chin. So now I'm going to round that chin up a little bit. I'm going to block the view here, so I actually need to, let me just move over here. I'm not used to drawing this way, so excuse me while I block the view a little bit. While I just do this real quick. Okay, I'm just going to quickly draw in the ear over here. Now, because this is 3/4 view, you're only going to get the one ear in view. The other view ear is not going to be in view at all. Specifically because you turn the head, the ear is pushed back, it's probably around this area, so just remember that. So, let me just throw in the neck, just to kind of finish this little off a little bit. There. Now the mouth is going to be relatively center again, but you're actually going to kind of tilt it as well. So what I like to do is I like to just start here about halfway between where basically right under the nose is where a good place to start, and just kind of having a little smiley face. Now the eyes are going to be real different because remember, normally from straight on view, the eyes would be symmetrical, they would be the same size. However, because the head is tilted over, you actually have to adjust for that. So the eyes aren't going to be perfectly center again. Now, obviously I want to indicate a little bit there. This eye over here on the right side is going to start just where that nose tip is going to be. And then on this side I'm leaving an eyes width between, so I want to make sure there's about an eyes width gap. And now I'm just going to quickly put it. Now, I'm going to draw the eye on the right first, just because it's a little squished. By squished, I mean you're just thinning it out. You're thinning it out a little bit. Instead of having the full view of it, just thin it out a little bit. Put a little sharper of an angle that you normally would with your eyes. I'm going to go with a very simple, simple looking eye here. Same rules apply though. It's just a simple eye. Let's put the bottom piece of the eye there. And just to kind of help along, I'm going to throw in iris. And let's just put a little highlight on the bottom there. I'm not going to finish that eye off too much there. So now I'm going to put the other eye over here, make sure it's roughly the same height. Let's just kind of put you a little bit. This eye is going to be a little weird for some reason, but oh well. Now this eye is going to be relatively what you would normally put as an eye. So whatever you would normally put size-wise as your eye, this eye is going to be pretty much to that scale. So let's put the iris back in here. It's going to seem a little bigger, but it's just a little wider is really the only point here. Now let's do that. Put that. Now the next part that you're going to have to understand here, as I'm filling this in, is because you've tilted the head, the eyebrows are going to seem a little different. This eyebrow that goes over the left eye, or the eye on this side, is actually going to stick over towards this center line a little bit further because you've switched. Because remember, in the skull, the eyebrow actually juts out from the forehead, which you will see when I do the profile view. So just remember that you got to kind of let that sit over there a little bit more than you normally would. And on this side, right about where that lines up with that eye is where this one's going to go. And it's going to be shorter, obviously, since everything's the proportions are a little weird just because you're at that angle. And that's pretty much it for the face in that kind of three-quarter view. Excuse me. Now I'm not going to put the hair just because that can be a whole another video on itself. Hair is very tricky. So now let me move on to doing the other view. Now I'm going to do this right next to it, so let's just get quickly drawing here. I'm going to draw another circle. Now with this view, because it's profile view, profile just means you're looking at it from the side. So you're going to basically start the same way, except this time you're not going to put a center line because your center line literally is over here. So technically I'm going to put a center line here, but I'm going to really drastically curve it because it's going to be the rough shape of the head down to the chin, and then I can kind of just, that's the chin right there. That little thing right there, that's the chin, and then it kind of goes up a little bit. So let's just do that. Let's kind of go around a little bit just to kind of finish off the skull, I guess. Would be a good thing to do here. Now, here's something I'm going to do. I'm going to finish the neck off real quick just to kind of show you something. And that's right back here. You see how the spine itself has a curve up into the skull, and it curves around into the back. So just remember that curve there. You want a slight, subtle curve as you go curve inward, pull back out, and then come back in around to do the top of the skull. So just remember that subtle little curve. It's not going to be straight down, although with some styles you can get away with that. But remember, it's just going to be a little subtle curve. Now we can do the center line. We're going to cut this in half, and this is just for the eyes. Now the ears are a little different. The ears are not going to be back here or anything. They're actually going to be dead center in the head of this little circle here. So go about circle, right about there, and that's roughly where the little ears are going to go. That's about where the ear goes. I'm not going to detail any of this out. Now the eye is really tricky. You want to take the line and go back a little bit. You want to put maybe half an eye, maybe 3/4 of an eye's width between the actual part of the head and where the eye is going to go. I would go maybe about half an eye's width, just to be safe. Now the eye is going to be super squished, so it's going to be kind of like what I did over here, but it's going to be like super squished off. Like, so I'll just show you here. It's going to be a lot more triangular, like that. I'm going to draw the iris. Now remember, the eye sits inside the skull a little bit, so it is going to kind of curve in a little bit there. It's not going to be touching the corner just yet. And it's also going to be kind of curving at an angle, as you can see there, the way I did it. It's a lot thinner, kind of curves a little bit, so it's just little things you got to keep in mind when you're doing this. And that's pretty much for the eye. That's about it. Now here's the little eyelid. Now the eyebrow, obviously it sits out, so I'm not going to do that just yet. Now we're going to do the actual face. Now right here is where the nose dips in, starts to dip into the eye, because remember, it's concave here. So what you want to do is you want to get the rough shape of the skull here, about where the eyebrow is going to be. And then you just want to do like a nice gentle curve. The apex is here, and it points there. and then it starts coming back out and sticks out past where you did it, this little line here for the nose, and then comes right back in to where it's going to meet the lips. Now there's multiple ways you can do lips. You can either just draw a straight line down there. You don't have to actually bump them out if that's your style. But if that is your style where you actually draw a little more realistically, then I'll do it here just to indicate what it looks like, and then I'll do a little more in-depth thing here in a second where I'll actually zoom in so you can actually see what I just did there. And the mouth pretty much goes the same place. Eyebrow goes a lot further up. It almost touches that line, but not quite. So I'm just going to do a rough little eyebrow here. Now up here, I'm just going to show you what that mouth looks like real quick. So first, I'm just going to throw the nose the way I did before. You know, that's the rough shape of the nose. I'll put a little nostril here. Now the mouth does this. You got your upper lip, which juts out a little bit, not too far. Comes back down. It meets a point here past the nose, so it does curve a little bit there, like that. And then you have the bottom lip, which is actually shorter. It does not stick out as far as the top one. And it goes in a little bit. It rolls in, goes past this line here, this little circular line here, goes through it, and then juts back out for where the chin's going to be. So that's generally what you want to remember for stuff like the face, is that the top lip sticks out a little further than the bottom lip. So it kind of goes in an order of the nose sticks out the farthest, and then the upper lip, and then the bottom lip. So that's pretty much it for basically drawing three-quarter view and profile view, and I did the little lips up at the top corner. So thank you for watching. I hope that wasn't too quick or too long or too drawn out. I don't know. It might have been boring, you guys. If it wasn't helpful enough, just let me know and I'll try to make a better version of this video. I'm always willing to redo my videos. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please follow me on Tumblr as well as Instagram to get little updates of images that I've been working on, as well as morning pictures that I've been doing. I'm going to put my pencil down here. For anyone wondering, it's just, I think it's a Staedtler. It's a Staedtler pencil. You can get it in a set. I don't normally use this, but I figured for this video to make it a little easier for you guys to see, I would use a black pencil. I normally use blue lead. It doesn't really matter. You can actually go on dickflick.com or JetPens. JetPens I actually do recommend. They're a very good website. You can go on there and you can get some blue lead and a blue lead pencil. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.